So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 17 of our season 2 here on F1 Manager 23. Now if you didn't watch the last episode in Singapore, you might want to go back and watch that one because there was some changeable weather conditions to say the least. And if I click on the right one in Singapore, we did get Pierre Gasly at P7, Esteban Ocon had an incident in P13. Guess who won it? Max Verstappen, of course, won the Grand Prix from Lance Stroll, who is performing very, very well this season. Just to bring you up to date with the standings, constructors-wise, Red Bull on 642 points. They are running away with it from Aston Martin in P2 and Ferrari in P3. I still think we've got an outside chance of catching Mercedes. We've been performing better in some recent races, so keep your eye on that battle. Drivers standings-wise, Max Verstappen leading the way by 100 points to Checo Perez. Gasly in P9, Ocon in P10. Just 2 points separate our two drivers. In the F2, Clement Novalak is still leading that championship by 110 points from Isaac Hadjar at Trident. And in the Formula 3, Taylor Barnard is winning that championship by nearly 100 points, 90 points. Taylor Barnard looks a very, very young driver, it must be said. But this weekend, we head to Suzuka. It's not a sprint weekend. It's going to be a very interesting one because look at the rain on Sunday. Could be more changeable conditions. I didn't feel we got all the information we needed to in that last red flag start that we had. 67% historic safety car chance round here. Always provides decent racing, top speed and high speed cornering. Very, very useful around here. Expected strategy is a two-stop, but with the rain, that will obviously change. So I'm going to get through practice, and I will see you in qualifying for the Japanese Grand Prix. Shocking result in Q1. Pierre Gasly out in P17. It is going to be Esteban Ocon. Is the only car we've got in Q2. Gasly just not putting the lap together in a very wet qualifying session. On to Q2. You would suggest that this lap is going to be our best chance at getting a quick time in. Probably every car, I think. If we just have a look at the map, every car is out on circuit. As we just fast forward it on a little bit, this is going to be the only dry lap in Q2. What can Esteban Ocon do here as he comes up to the final chicane? Can he put in a decent competitive time? I think we're going to take a grid penalty with Pierre Gasly. With him being at the back, I think it makes sense. But Esteban Ocon, he's going to cross the line. And he goes P2 at the moment. Only 0.4 of a second behind Max Verstappen. Something to bear in mind. And my word, look at those times coming in. But Esteban Ocon, now it's going to start raining, I would suggest would be safe for Q3. We'll let you know very shortly. And that was enough to get Esteban Ocon through to Q3. Just having a look if there's anybody interested out. Lewis Hamilton out in the Mercedes in Q1, to be fair. Danny Ricciardo in the Hugo Boss and Oscar Piastri out as well. So just the one car in Q3, and that's Esteban Ocon. And once again, we are just going to get the one dry lap in Q3, and it is Esteban Ocon who is flying round at this moment in time. We ride on board from his point of view. Can he put in another stonking lap? I mean, look how dark it is here at Suzuka. He crosses the line. Let's have a little look. Nearly a second behind Carlos Sainz. As we fast forward, all the results come in. And Esteban Ocon is probably going to be starting 9th for tomorrow's Grand Prix. We'll confirm it very shortly, but not a bad qualifying from Esteban Ocon. And there it was then, guys. So Esteban Ocon starting P7. We are going to take an ERS, an extra ERS for Pierre Gasly. I reckon he could do with that towards the end of this season. So Pierre Gasly is going to get a grid penalty as well. If we have a look at the strategy screen, we are going to go hell for leather on the soft compounder tyre. Then it's going to be inters. We've got a wet period here of around 10 laps where it may go to the full wet tyres, then back onto the inters, maybe wets at the end. We'll have a look in greater detail when we get to the track map, but P7, P16, we're going to take a lot of fuel out because of the rain. Let's see what we can do. It's going to be a real battle for Pierre to get points today, but I'm hopeful Esteban can pick up some more good points. Let's get to 5 red lights.
We're all good to go here in Japan with 53 laps around the Suzuka circuit. Could this be a big race for that man, Alexander Albon?
Can we expect much from them in P18? Well, I know for sure they'll give it a good go.
But just what will happen here, your guess is as good as mine. Get ready, it's the Japanese Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go, and straight away we are looking at Esteban Ocon, who has got a Haas of Kevin Magnussen and Checo Perez in front of him. Pierre Gasly all the way down in P17 with that ERS penalty, but he's made a decent start as Esteban Ocon here, as we're just looking on board with him going side by side with Checo Perez, and he's up into P6 just about. Let's have a look at the tyres everyone's on. Everyone's starting on the soft. It made sense. That rain is going to come pretty quickly, but Esteban Ocon at the moment holding off Checo Perez beautifully at the start. Great work from him. Perez is keeping his nose in, but Esteban gets in front up into P6. Meanwhile, at the back, Pierre Gasly behind Zhou Guanyu, George Russell and Hamilton, both Mercedes again, starting out of the points today. Leclerc starting at the very, very back at this moment in time. Must be noted as well, obviously we've got pit stops today where we're going to have to probably bring both our cars in at the same time. We have got a nice gap between the two as Pierre Gasly is looking racy early doors here, trying to attack that Gulf Williams of Zhou Guanyu. Let's keep his eye on this as he tries to go round the outside. Is he going to manage to make the move? Sticky isn't. Zhou Guanyu covers him off quite well, but Esteban Ocon at the moment, he's looking racer, especially against the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. Sainz leads from Alonso, then Verstappen is in P3. Yellow flag, but Checo Perez has just overtaken Esteban Ocon, and Perez is going to do in a Red Bull, isn't he? I mean, come on, we're not quite at that level yet, but this Andretti Cadillac has looked racy in the last few races, and Checo Perez through 130R, getting the job done. Ocon sat in behind him. Then we did get a yellow flag on circuit. I'm assuming it was someone in front of Esteban Ocon. I'm just keeping an eye on who that may be. We're not really getting any sort of indication. Magnussen's still there. Verstappen, Sainz, Alonso. He's still in P6. Is Esteban Ocon. I'm not quite sure who has dropped there. We're not really... Oh, it's Lance Stroll, I'm guessing. Lance Stroll all the way back in P20. We've not got a replay of it. But Lance Stroll now at the back. Pierre Gasly up to P16, pushing on the tyres, but these tyres are getting hot and getting hot quickly. Lap 3. Lap 4, Checo Perez has made his way through the field. He's now up into P4, but what he has done is dropped Kevin Magnussen, and we have pushed on the ERS to get back in the DRS of Kevin Magnussen. This is going to help our race no end with Esteban Ocon, as he's now hanging onto the back of this Haas and should get DRS, which he does. Magnussen won't, and hopefully he can just keep pulling us up and away from that Audi of Valtteri Bottas. So it must be said, qualified very well, as did Mick Schumacher yesterday. So Ocon in a nice position. Pierre Gasly the opposite, stuck in a DRS train at this moment in time, looking at the back of Zhou Guanyu. He's got Russell and Hamilton in front of him. I still fancy Pierre Gasly to beat the Mercedes today. I really fancy beating these Mercedes at the moment. I don't know why, but this Andretti Cadillac, I think, looks a better car all in all. Lap 5 we're on at the moment. We're expecting rain around lap, what? Lap 11? Lap 11 even. Lap 11, lap 12 is when we're expecting the rain. We're keeping an eye on the pit wall on when this is going to come, but we are going to go for the intermediates, I believe, and then we're going to be looking at the wets later on. The strategy is absolutely key as always, but Carlos Sainz building a lovely gap in that Ferrari at the moment. In P1, he's got a 1.9 second gap to Fernando Alonso in P2. Then comes Verstappen and Perez, the two Red Bulls. Verstappen all over the back of Fernando Alonso. Then comes Magnussen and Ocon. Ocon, who is now topping up beautifully behind this Haas. Then comes Bottas, Piastri, Hülkenberg and Lando Norris. Both McLarens running in the top 10. It must be said, Esteban Ocon has looked quicker than Kevin Magnussen and has just got past him. He's been topping up his ERS as well, has Esteban Ocon. But beautiful work from our French driver. They're both French drivers. I know what you're saying. But Esteban Ocon recently, he was the driver we were looking at possibly replacing. At the moment, he's waltzing over Pierre Gasly and scoring the higher points. Esteban up into P5, lap 7. Pierre Gasly getting past Zhou Guanyu. It's taken a little while, but he's managed to do him round the outside of 130R into the next chicane. He's got a Hugo Boss of Daniel Ricciardo in front of him. But fantastic work from Pierre Gasly. Up into P15 now, and now on the back of the Hugo Boss. You can see it's getting very dark. Rain is imminent. We may have got the call completely wrong. We may have got the call completely right. Esteban Ocon is belting round while the track is still dry. Everybody was pitting. This pit lane is going to be absolute chaos. I didn't want Esteban getting caught up in it, so I've left him out. He's making his way around now, is Esteban Ocon. He's pitting on the next lap. Pierre Gasly is in, and straight away our pit crew are having a shocking time getting that left tyre on. And this is not something that we should be doing at this moment in time. In he comes Pierre Gasly is going to come out. I mean, even if he were just blocking the cars around him, that would have been ideal. Esteban Ocon is going to lose some time in this final sector, but I'm hoping not enough time that he's going to get jumped by these people. We will see, but Esteban Ocon will be in very shortly. Pierre Gasly has had a shocker, P17. Right, in comes Pierre Gasly on lap... Well, coming on to lap 13. Sorry, Esteban Ocon coming on lap 13. Where is he going to come out here? This is the key point. We need a good stop from our guys. Are we going to get it? We are. It's a 2.6 second stop. It's a beautiful stop. Now, bearing in mind, we were fighting Magnussen when we were coming in. So, Kevin Magnussen now coming around the final corner. Ocon trundling down the pit lane. Are we going to come out in front of Kevin Magnussen? We certainly are. We haven't lost anything there with Esteban Ocon. In fact, we may have gained a little bit. So, Esteban Ocon now out on the intermediate tyres. Great work from him. Pierre Gasly is going to be absolutely fuming at the bike on those. But we need to get these tyres up to temperature as quick as possible now and keep away from such as Checo Perez, who has lost positions in those pit stops. He's now in P6. Gasly in P17. Sainz still leads by 3 seconds to Alonso. Lap 16, we bring you back. Esteban Ocon at 1.3 seconds. Gap to Magnussen. Magnussen is actually holding up Checo Perez. This is working beautifully for us at this moment in time. Ocon trundling along very, very nicely indeed. We are going to be on the full wets around lap, what, 27, 28 is what I would suggest will be on the full wet tyres. So at the moment, Esteban Ocon looking very, very decent indeed for a top 4 finish. Who knows? Lap 24, the rain is getting heavier and heavier. We are still not quite ready for the wet tyres. We're keeping Checo Perez behind us beautifully with Esteban Ocon. We're even saving a little bit of fuel, which is helping very, very nicely indeed at this moment in time. We're just going a little bit more aggressive on the tyres. Gasly can't make progress in this race at all. He's sat behind Yuki Tsunoda. He's going to have to get this pit stop absolutely spot on. I might bring Gasly in a little bit earlier and let him go for it on the wets. We will have to see. But Esteban Ocon at the moment, he's looking okay against Checo Perez. Pit stop should be coming pretty imminently. We have a safety car just at the time when we were expecting to be going to the wet compound of tyres. So, of course, it makes sense to get both our cars in at this moment in time. It's Nico Hülkenberg who's out. We didn't get the chance to see the collision. I ain't seen the collision yet, but I know Nico Hülkenberg is out of the Grand Prix. But Esteban Ocon, everybody is going to be pitting for these wet tyres now. Let's just hope we have a good pit stop here, because we jumped Red Bull, if you remember, at Monza, and it looks like Red Bull may be jumping us here as we manage to get out. We get out behind Checo Perez. Very disappointing once again. But listen, we've got a free pit stop. We're still in P5. Pierre Gasly, this is going to suit him quite well, I would suggest. He's going to be coming in. He couldn't quite get in on his last lap just before the safety car came in. And it looks like somebody's just spun in front of Pierre Gasly, and that looked like Yuki Tsunoda spinning on his way in to the pit lane. We will get a replay of that. So here's Pierre Gasly waiting to come into the pits, and Yuki Tsunoda just absolutely loses it, and his former teammate nearly goes straight into the back of him. Not ideal at all. But here comes Pierre Gasly into the pits. Ocon is now saving a bit of fuel as well, just topping up on the ERS, which Pierre Gasly will be doing as well. But yeah, we'll come back. When we're back to green flag running, Gasly is now up into P16, I believe that is. Tsunoda is still carrying on intermediates. He's going to be a roadblock. But yeah, Gasly, P16, P5 for Esteban. Safety car is ending. We are back to green flag running, and it is going to be Carlos Sainz who's leading us away here in the Ferrari from Fernando Alonso. Then comes Max Verstappen, then Perez, Ocon, Magnussen, Piastri, Leclerc is up to P8 from the back of the grid. Russell and Hamilton in P9 and 10. Gasly in P15. But now is the time. Esteban Ocon has got to get a shift on. We've had the pace on Magnussen all afternoon. I expect that to stay that way. We are pushing on the fuel now. We've saved that much fuel. That was a long safety car. So we are pushing on the fuel. We're pushing on absolutely everything because we know we've got to stick with these front runners and keep building that gap because, of course, we are going to be going back to intermediate tyres at some point. So at this moment, lap 29, it's Sainz from Alonso, Verstappen and Perez. We're in P6 with Esteban, and at the moment, it's very, very tricky conditions. Pierre Gasly has been told to be aggressive on the overtakes. Try and make some overtakes, pal. because at this moment in time, we need to get up to the points, especially with Mercedes in P9 and 10, lap 29. Verstappen and Magnussen are in to the pits. Both our cars have carried on, as has Sainz, Alonso and Perez. We've decided to carry on the wet compounded tyre. We're giving it the absolute beans trying to get round now. Both cars, but it will be changing to damp conditions very, very shortly. We'll come back when we're into the pits. We've got a few cars staying out on the wets. We're coming in. Sainz and Alonso are staying out. It's a very close call. We're going with Verstappen and Red Bull. Verstappen tends to get it right. We're going that way as well. There's more cars pitting than aren't. Gasly's into the pits as well. Trundling in. We've managed to get both cars in on the optimum lap here, I would suggest. Gasly, is he going to get a decent pit stop here? He certainly is. That's not bad at all. 2.6 seconds. That should be us towards the end of the Grand Prix. Verstappen manages to overtake us, but look at the gap we've pulled to Kevin Magnussen, who's come out in front of Leclerc. Ocon now in P12, and let's have a little look at the front. All these guys on wets. This is the time. This is the time to attack for both cars on these intermediate tyres, because these guys who haven't pit are really going to struggle in these conditions. Lap 36. On lap 37, in comes Sainz, Alonso and Perez. How much is this going to cost them? Let's have a little look. It's a good stop from the Ferrari guys. Perez, equally, good stop from them. Hamilton's in, as well as Ricciardo and Stroll. My word, there's some commentating to be done here. Ocon is coming in. Is he going to manage to jump a couple of these guys? It'd be absolutely ideal if he can. Let's see what happens here. He's trundling down now the pit lane. Are these cars in front? Piastri. Where is Carlos Sainz? He's already out on track. We haven't jumped in. Ocon, he's going to be up. Where is Perez? Perez is out in front. Ocon has stayed where he is. Albon is yet to pit, and he may hold up Verstappen and bring us back into this. Pierre Gasly, how many positions has he gained? He's out. Is he going to be in front of Lance Stroll? He certainly is. He's now 2.7 seconds from the Mercedes of George Russell. So Gasly back in the fight for points. Ocon in P6, but net P5 because Albon is yet to pit. He's close at the front. In comes Alexander Albon for his pit stop on lap 38. He was a little bit of a roadblock, to be fair. We are closer to Perez than we've been in a little while, and we've got a nice 3-second gap to Kevin Magnussen, who is holding up the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. So Esteban Ocon on course to score some decent points for us once again here today. Pierre Gasly's in P11, 3.4 seconds gap to Russell, but we are expecting more rain. It will get wet again towards the end of this race. Do we box? Do we not? There's one last big strategy call to be made here. Let's hope we get it right. Lap 43, 10 laps to go. And Pierre Gasly's on the back of George Russell. It is going to hammer it down in 4 minutes' time. And it's going to be exceptionally wet all the way to the end. There is going to be one more pit stop in this race, and we've got to get it spot on. Ocon at the moment is in P5. He's in a very, very good position. The two Red Bulls may have to double stack. Bear that in mind. The two Andretti Cadillacs won't have to double stack, so something to bear in mind with both cars. But Gasly's on for points today. Ocon's on for good points. My God, I hope our guys in the pit stops are ready, because this is about to get very, very interesting indeed. 10 laps to go. There's one more pit stop very imminently. And this is it. Lap 46. We are pitting. We are pitting. Both cars. Perez is in. Verstappen is in. The Red Bulls are going to have to double stack here. Verstappen's managed to get out pretty... Oh, no, Verstappen's not. Verstappen's carried on. Perez into the pits. It's a slow stop for the Red Bulls. Where is our pit stop? Here it is. Come on, guys. Get this right. And we do get it right. 2.7 second stop. Fantastic work from the Andretti Cadillac boys. And now we look at George Russell. We look at Pierre Gasly as well into the pits, onto the wet compounded tyre. Is it a good stop? He's held. And George Russell gets away well. He gets the advantage of having the better pit box. Both our cars in. A few cars staying out on the intermediates. The wet compound is going to be the tyre to be on very, very shortly. Esteban Ocon now straight away. Attack on these tyres. This is the time, boys. Both of our guys. Pierre Gasly is out as well. And we are attacking with Pierre Gasly. Where is George Russell? George Russell's only 1.3 seconds up the road. This is the time to make up positions. Both cars pushing hard. And on lap 47, Verstappen, Magnussen and Leclerc are in. Verstappen gets away very well. Magnussen and Leclerc just coming in, as is Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. Carlos Sainz is going to retake the lead of the Grand Prix beautifully. Piastri's in as well. Are any of these guys going to get held up? It looked like a decent stop for Verstappen. Where is Esteban Ocon? He's coming down the start-finish straight now. Hamilton and Leclerc still trundling out of the pit lane. Ocon gaining positions, but it's not enough to catch the two Red Bulls of Verstappen and Ocon. Where is Pierre Gasly, and how many positions is this man going to gain? Because he's right on the back of George Russell. We've got cars coming out of the pit lane, and I would suggest Gasly's actually lost out a little bit there in that pit stop. Magnussen's the big loser. He's down to P12. Ocon in P5. But Hamilton's done rather well. He's now into P9. Ocon in P5. Still P5 for Esteban. That should see us through till the end of this Grand Prix. But Pierre Gasly has got work to do to get back in the points. Lap 49. Esteban Ocon looks like he's done enough for P5. He's not going to catch Checo Perez, but he is going to stay in front of Charles Leclerc. The man we're all watching is this battle right here, because it's about a 6-car battle that's been led by Yuki Tsunoda, who is on intermediate tyres. This is absolutely crazy. Yuki Tsunoda is holding up everyone, and it's bringing everyone back into this race. Pierre Gasly has told to be being aggressive on the overtakes. If he can get the right opportunity, who knows what he could possibly do. We're going to tell him to deploy and try and get around the outside. We've got a yellow flag. I'm not quite sure who that is. Ocon's still ticking along nicely, so that's fair enough. No, he's not. Esteban Ocon has ran wide. Let's have a little look at that. Esteban Ocon into here. He's ran wide a little bit. That's not going to affect him massively. He's lost a little bit of time to Charles Leclerc. It's still 4.4 seconds. He should do enough. But Pierre Gasly's got opportunity of a lifetime here to pass a few cars if he can just get in the right position. Lap 50, 3 laps to go. Pierre Gasly has overtaken Oscar Piastri. He's loving life at the moment. Got past him. It's opportunist from Pierre Gasly. You can see this roadblock. I'm not quite sure how realistic this is, but it's working very well. And now I'm hoping we're going to get a replay of this move he's just done, because Pierre Gasly is now being told to get past Yuki Tsunoda, and he certainly has done. Please let us get a replay of this overtake, because it was one of the best I've seen. And here it is. Pierre Gasly, is this the overtake of overtakes? Got in clean air down the inside, and see you later, Kevin Magnussen. I'm having a bit of that. And that Hugo Boss now on those tyres is going to be passed by Pierre Gasly. Let's have a look here from his onboard. Can he get past Yuki Tsunoda? Don't crash into him, for goodness sake. Pierre Gasly, can he get past him? We're all watching it on. Please pull to the left. Beautiful. Right, go, 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 Pierre. Look at the pace of that Hugo Boss in the straight line, by the way. Let's be aggressive here. You've got to get past him into 130R, because if you can get past him, Pierre, you are going to leave this lot behind you in an absolute way. But Yuki Tsunoda again defending well. Pierre backs right up. Is he going to get a good run on him down the start-finish straight? I mean, this is crazy. 3 laps to go. Ocon's going to be under pressure from Leclerc in a little bit as well. But here comes Pierre Gasly. Can he get past him? He's using ERS. He's pushing on fuel. Yuki Tsunoda is somehow managing to hold on to these positions. I'm frightened to death that he's going to crash into him at this moment in time, because I'm just watching this. He's on aggressive on the overtakes. Can he get around this Hugo Boss? I'm sure he will, but Esteban Ocon, 1.9 seconds now, the gap to Leclerc. He's going to have a fight with a Ferrari at the end. Finally, Pierre Gasly has got past the Hugo Boss of Yuki Tsunoda and has got up into P8. And that Hugo Boss is causing all sorts of problems. I'm not quite sure, again, how realistic that is, but I'm not going to let it spoil his day, because Pierre Gasly has done rather well here, and he's now Leclerc. He's now up into P8. There's a 3-second gap. He can just push on the fuel and bring it home. He's no pressure now, has Pierre Gasly. One man who is going to be under pressure is going to be Esteban Ocon, but at the moment, he's just doing enough. We've got 1 lap to go. Sainz leads from Alonso. Verstappen's in 3rd. Perez 4th. Ocon 5th. Leclerc in 6th. Then comes Hamilton in 7th, Gasly in 8th, Tsunoda in 9th, and Magnussen make up the top 10. George Russell, P11 for Mercedes. And as we come on to the final lap of this Grand Prix, Esteban Ocon has been told to defend for your life. He's got a Ferrari of Charles Leclerc on his back, and this is it. He's got to defend from this Ferrari to keep P5 in this race. Esteban Ocon has provided some sensational drives in the latter part of this season. In the last few races, this would be just as sensational as all of those if he can keep behind this Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. We saw him do it in real life in Hungary a few years back to get that race win. Admittedly not from a Ferrari, but still from a very quick car. But Pierre Gasly at the moment positioning that Andretti Cadillac. He's making it look like a Cadillac Escalade at this moment in time, because that is what it's got to do. And Leclerc's going down the inside. Is he? No, he isn't. Esteban Ocon still defending for his life. He's going to have to get past one big long straight and the chicane, and if he can do that, Esteban Ocon may just be able to hold on to this P5. We're telling him to use the ERS. We've given him the ERS battle assist. Anything we can do to help this Cadillac stay in front of a Ferrari. Doesn't happen that often. Let's have a look from the point of view of Charles Leclerc as we come down this long back straight into 130R. He doesn't look like he's close enough. Will he go around the outside? He won't. Esteban Ocon still positioning that car beautifully at this moment in time. Carlos Sainz has won from Fernando Alonso. Verstappen is going to get P3, but Esteban Ocon in the Andretti Cadillac is going to come round the final corner. Is he going to manage to hold off that Ferrari? He certainly is. Esteban Ocon comes home P5, and Pierre Gasly is going to trot home beautifully in P8. That has been a fantastic race for Pierre. Let's just speed him up a little bit. Look how fast that Andretti's going down the back straight. But Pierre Gasly up into P8. Remember, starting towards the back of the grid. Fantastic work from him. Got a bit lucky with Yuki Tsunoda, who's still backing up George Russell, which is quite the sight to see. But Pierre Gasly will come along P8. That is a good weekend again for Andretti Cadillac.
Now that's an excellent drive today from Esteban Ocon.
That really was such a strong performance, and they come away from today with a top 10 finish. Amazing, really good for the team.
We may see these kind of scenes a lot in Formula One, but it's easy to forget just what it means to the whole team. And with that, the Sainz name remains engraved in F1 history.
Their first win of the season, and the team looking on will be very proud, I'm sure.
Carlos Sainz dominating from start to finish in that Grand Prix. Let's have a little look at the full standings. And so Sainz wins from Alonso, got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Verstappen in P3, Perez P4, Ocon P5 for Andretti. Charles Leclerc gained 14 places in that Ferrari, but couldn't gain 15, could he? No, he couldn't. Lewis Hamilton in P7, Gasly in P8, then came Magnussen and Lance Stroll. As we look towards the back, we had one DNF, and that was Nico Hülkenberg. Driver standings-wise, Max Verstappen, 15 points, gets today. He's now 103 points ahead of Checo Perez. Carlos Sainz jumps above his teammate Charles Leclerc by a point into P5. Esteban Ocon on to 58 points, and Gasly on to 54. Lovely work from both our guys. Constructor standings-wise, Red Bull, I mean, what is it now? 262 points ahead of Aston Martin. They've got it won, haven't they? Aston Martin in P2, Ferrari P3, Mercedes in P4 gain 6 points, but we gain 8 more onto 112. I fancy this. I fancy beating Mercedes. Let me know down in the comments. Can we possibly do it? I really think we can. Williams in P6, Haas P7, and all the way at the back is Audi, who, to be fair to them, looked a little bit racy today. I hope you've enjoyed that one. Oh, we've had some weather in the last few races, haven't we? But please do like and subscribe, and we will be on to the next one. Ta-ra!